following is a presentation of the Reviewing Network Sports. Hello everybody and welcome to another exciting episode of the NFL Network on this holiday weekend, the precursor to the holiday weekend, if you will. And let me be the first, or probably not the first time you've heard this week, like that, just go along with it. Let me be the first to wish all of you and yours a very happy Thanksgiving. The holiday season is upon us. The next 6 weeks are going to be glorious, not just because of the holiday sandwich we've got here with Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, but the final 6 weeks of the NFL season are upon us, and it's hard to believe that we are already at the end of nearing the end of the regular season. Feels like we just got started with this, but lo and behold, here we are. We are about to finish up the month of November, and then we've got one more full month of NFL regular season football, and then 1 week in January, and then we can focus on the playoffs. But yeah. Week 12, I believe. Yeah, week 12 was already. But week 12 was kind of interesting on a number of different levels, and it led to several notable changes in our power rankings that we're going to show you right now. And you're going to see here that we have a new number one team in the NFL power rankings this week. You know, when I put this power rankings list together this week, my first thought was, finally, the people on Threads can stop getting on my ass about this, because every time I post to put new power rankings on Threads, the biggest assholes come out on there, like people that are really against the Chicago Bears. They don't want them anywhere near there. It's people that don't want to see that are pissed off because they don't put Seattle or New England or Kansas City or Baltimore in there. You know, I've explained how my power rankings are different than everybody else's. I go by a week-to-week basis. That's what I do here. So if you have one good performance the previous week, if you have a bad performance the following week, you're going down on the list. Sorry, that's how this works. So it's not going to change anything for people on Threads, because I've learned the last month or so that people on Threads can be such assholes. I mean, wasn't Threads supposed to be the nicer version of Twitter? But I guess that changed completely when it comes to sports and all that. But hey, you can't please them all, so I'm not changing anything. So, and if those people out there are listening and watching this, which they probably aren't, if you don't like what I have to say about what teams are ranked in specific weeks, you don't have to fucking read it. You can go on and do something else with your life. But for those of you who are interested in my power rankings, here, as you'll see, we have some more changes across the board here. We have a couple of teams who have not made this list in the top 5 for the first time. At least one, I don't think, have never made it into here. We're going to get to them in just a second here, but so let's go ahead and take a look. Number 5 on this week's power rankings is the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears have been a consistent player in the top 5 because they have found ways to win games, and this past week against the Steelers was probably their most dominant performance overall, doing what they did without 3 other starting linebackers, and the fact that the Bears dominated much of this game overall, and it didn't even and the Steelers, continued their depressing record against them in Chicago, which I'll touch on them in just a little bit, because good God, man, it's just too much for me. And hey, we need to give a lot of credit to Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams for what they're doing in Chicago, because really, they're playing really good football, and whether people want to admit it or not, they're stacking up the wins, and they're doing everything they can to prove that, hey, this is what the Bears need to do to prove that they're contenders overall. Now, they still have a month to go, and there's still a lot of difficult levels to get to here, especially when it comes to beating other teams in the division. This is a tough division. I said it at the beginning of the year. This is going to be one of the toughest divisions in the NFL this season, the NFC North. And you got Green Bay, you got Detroit. Minnesota's not really much of a factor anymore, but that really isn't much of a surprise. But, I mean, it's a tough stretch ahead, and yeah, Chicago's got Green Bay twice in the next month, and then they face Detroit again at the end of the season, which probably will be for the division and probably a Sunday Night Football Week 18 finale. Who knows? But yeah, it's time to give the Chicago Bears the proper respect that they deserve, and they definitely deserve it right now. At number 4, just ahead of the Bears, is the aforementioned Green Bay Packers, who have done a good job of responding after a couple of weeks of lackluster performances. They mopped the floor with Minnesota this past week. Minnesota pretty much not really doing much overall, but hey, Green Bay has been winning these tough games the last couple of weeks. They almost got beat by the Giants, but they put on a defensive slugfest against Minnesota overall. But yeah, Green Bay right now still playing very well. I don't think they're I don't think they're the matriarchs of the NFC, if you will, that we thought they were going to be when Micah Parsons came into play. But hey, they've got a big test ahead this week against Detroit, and Detroit's got to do everything it can to stay in this division hunt, because yeah, it's a tough one between those three teams. So then moving on to number 3, we have a brand new team in the top 5 that I never thought I would put in there, but when you beat the world champs in the Philadelphia Eagles, you got to give the Dallas Cowboys all the credit in the world. I mean, their offense was cooking at the right time. The defense did what they had to do in the second half. But it was mostly because of Philadelphia's problems coming into play and coming to roost at the worst possible time against divisional opponent. I mean, they were up 21-0, and then they just let that lead slip away because they're not using Saquon Barkley as much as they did last year. Yeah, they're using A.J. Brown a lot more in the game because they realize they better shut him up before he turns into Terrell Owens 2.0. But yeah, we were waiting for that type of a game where they had a commanding lead, but they couldn't hold it in the second half. And sure enough, that game against the Cowboys. I mean, I hate to say it, man, but Steelers, what the fuck were you thinking giving George Pickens away to Dallas? Because look at what he's done since then. He's not been the cancer that the Steelers think that it made him out to be. He's actually committing. He's actually playing very well for Dallas. And yeah, there's a possibility that in the next couple of years, if Dallas can get its straight together, they could possibly be a contender for a Super Bowl really soon. But then again, we've been saying that for 30 years. But yeah. Enjoy this, Dallas. This is probably going to be your highest moment here, but they got a big tough task ahead of them on Thanksgiving Thursday. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Sticking around in the number 2 spot, even though they were on a bye week this week, the Denver Broncos still hanging in there. They got what should be an easy matchup this coming Sunday against a depleted Washington team that has nothing left to them, but we'll see what happens with that one. That could be a game, could be a trap game right there, but let's go to the new number 1 team in the NFL this season. It's really hard not to see why, at least this week it is. But the Los Angeles Rams, who, they have been very competitive all season long. And when you have Matthew Stafford playing at an MVP level at his age compared to other older quarterbacks in the league like Rodgers and Flacco, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford really is doing a commendable job with the Rams in general here. He's got a top wide receiver core. He's doing it without some of their bigger weapons like Tyler Higbee has not been playing much this season, but Puka Nacua has been rising up. Devontae Adams is finding new life again after so many years in Las Vegas and then with the Jets last year. I mean, the Rams, the defense for the Rams is getting better. This is a legitimate Rams team. I mean, this is the team right now that if they were to make it to a Super Bowl run, I would not be shocked at all, because unlike the 2021 team that was basically just going there as the NFL was just gifting them wins and gifting them opportunities to get to that Super Bowl, which I still think was a COVID Super Bowl, that in Tampa Bay, but that's a whole other thing altogether. But no, this Rams team definitely feels like they deserve to be in the Super Bowl this year, and if they could continue this pace up here, I think they can be very much on their way to doing so. I mean, they are very good right now. They are the top team in the league right now. Top team in the country. I'm thinking of college football rankings because we just had those coming out earlier today. But no, the Los Angeles Rams right now, they are the best team in the NFL this week. Will that change? Considering what happened the last couple of weeks, we will see. So let's go ahead and move on to the predictions for this week. And overall, pretty big week overall. I did 10 out of 14. It's pretty much the same I had for week 9. Mostly did pretty good. I mean, I missed the 2 games. The game that started the week, the Bills and Texans. I had Buffalo winning that one. I think a lot of people did. And I then had the Panthers over the 49ers, which that's my fault for thinking that Carolina was finally going to take advantage of Tampa Bay's mistakes, but not yet. Nope. Bryce Young still has yet to win a primetime game, so I don't know I don't know how well the Panthers will do this season, but at least they're better off than they were a couple of years ago, so there's that, I guess. But 10-14, not too bad, but still not too incredible overall. But hey, I'm getting there when I get there. But let's go ahead and begin with the John Madden Thanksgiving Day Classic, the triple header we have this coming Thursday, as we're all getting ready to watch these games and have turkey during the Cowboys-Chiefs game. And we'll get to Cowboys and Chiefs in a little bit here. But let's start with the first one we have here, the Packers hosting the Detroit Lions. And, of course, this was the Week 1 game to start the season off for both teams. Green Bay won that one. A close one. Closer than most people expected it to be. I think if I remember correctly, it was like 16-10. Okay, I got the wrong score. It was 27-13. I thought it was closer than I thought it was, but no, it was 27-13. But Green Bay won that game. They currently have the lead. They currently have the tiebreaker over Detroit. But they are going to go into Detroit. Green Bay, as I mentioned, beat Minnesota. Detroit coming off of that win against the New York Giants, which was much closer than expected. I mean, New York, I'll give New York this. They're at least more competitive when Jameis Winston is under center, but that's not really saying a whole lot because the Giants are such a cluster mess right now. But the fact that it went to overtime in Detroit should be very concerning for the Detroit Lions overall. But here's a chance for them to get redemption. It's been a rough couple of weeks, especially with Dan Campbell taking over the play calling for the Detroit Lions. It worked in the game against Washington, but when it came to Minnesota and Philadelphia, not so much. I mean, Dan Campbell, that Sunday night game will always be etched in my memory as the night where Dan Campbell took his gambling too far, and it cost him a game that night. And I mean, this is a chance for them to get back on track here because Detroit needs to win this game to usurp the Packers in the tiebreaker. They should beat them because I think the Lions are the better football team. But, we saw what happened 2 years ago when the Packers and Lions faced each other on Thanksgiving, and the Packers just came in there and mopped the floor with them. I don't think the Packers are as strong as that team was 2 years ago, but I mean, this could really be a toss-up game here. Both teams, I mean, the Lions this time around are not facing the Chicago Bears, so that's one thing. That's one thing working towards them. Unlike last year, they don't have a Matt Eberflus waiting to call timeout when it's a little too late. I mean, Matt LaFleur is much smarter than Matt Eberflus. We would think, but he'll make a similar mistake to Eberflus this week. So just watch. But I am gonna go with the Detroit Lions to win this one here to even the season split and continue on their quest to get back on track here. I think it could be a toss-up game, but I'm going to go with the Lions with the home field advantage. I'm going to take the Lions to go to 8-4, Packers to drop to 7-4-1. So then following that, we have probably what should be one of the more exciting matchups overall for this Thanksgiving. We've got the Dallas Cowboys hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City got a big win against the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts were up 20-9 at one point, and then the Chiefs came crawling back. And, they're essentially back in the picture here and more than likely will get back in the playoffs. Even if they have to be a wild card team, it's just looking inevitable. And hey, the Dallas Cowboys could be a wild card team going forward here. I mean, they've been playing some good football the last couple of weeks. The defense has definitely gotten a lot better with the additions they made at the trade deadline. So, yeah, there is definitely room to grow for this football team in general here. And it should be one of the more intriguing and fun matchups on Thanksgiving for the Cowboys instead of playing a lackluster team, the Commanders or the Giants or just these really bad football teams in general. This should be a very competitive football game, and it really could come down to the wire between one or the other. Again, like with the Lions and Packers, this game could be won by either team in particular. You've got a Chiefs team trying to get back on track, trying to stay in the playoff hunt, as well as the Cowboys. You've got them trying to figure out ways to get back in the swing of things here. And I think it definitely can go one of two ways with both of these football teams, but I am going to go surprisingly with the home team in this one here. I'm going to go with the Chiefs to get the Cowboys to get a win here because I think the Cowboys have played better in the last couple of weeks. I mean, you go into a game where you face the world champions and you get a big win against them because of their ineptitude. Here's a chance now to do it against the runner-up team in the Super Bowl this year, and I think the Cowboys can do it. I mean, we'll see if they can hold it together. The defense certainly got a lot better in the last couple of weeks. I think it's working in all directions for them. So I am going to go with the Cowboys to win this one, to go to 6-5-1, and the Chiefs to drop to 6-6. Stay even at 500. Chiefs will be fine after this. The Cowboys have a tough stretch ahead of them because the following Thursday they play the Lions. So, yeah, it's important to get wins as you can, especially when you're facing these tougher teams. I mean, you got the Detroit Lions coming up after that, and then after that, you've got the next toughest game for them will be the Chargers. So there is a possibility, with Minnesota at Washington, at New York, there is a possibility the Cowboys can sneak their way into the postseason, probably as a wild card team, since I think Philadelphia is just way too ahead of them right now. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see how this turns out here. But I digress. Which then brings us to the Thursday Night Football showdown between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore, I told you what was going to happen. I told you they were just biding their time, waiting for the Steelers to make all the wrong moves, and sure enough, they have taken back the division lead. So now everybody and their grandmother is on TV talking about, oh my God, the Ravens moved back up. It's like they're shocked by this. It's just like, this happens every fucking year with this team, and just like this is why I hate sports media so much, because they want to try to make a story out of everything. They make it seem like this whenever a team like the Ravens is down and all that, it's just like, oh, there's no way they make the playoffs. Oh, there's no way they get back on track here. It's just like, do you have short attention spans, or are you just doing this just to piss people off? Because even I knew that was going to happen, because the Ravens had a much easier schedule. The Steelers can't hold their shit together. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. Plus, they were playing the New York Jets. The Ravens. These games in particular, where they've been on this win streak, this is basically a warm up games for every single week. I mean, think about it. They played their toughest game overall. I don't even know what their toughest game overall was in this 5-game stretch. I mean, probably the Cleveland Browns, but even then, that's not really saying a whole lot in general, because the Browns were leading that game until Dylan Gabriel entered the concussion protocol. But this will be the first time they play Cincinnati, the first of 2 times in the next 3 weeks. But and Cincinnati coming off of a loss against the New England Patriots with Joe Flacco under center. But it looks like Joe Burrow will make his triumphant return this Thursday night in the quarterback position for the Cincinnati Bengals. So that could make this game a little bit more interesting. But we all know what happens when Baltimore goes into prime time. 9 times out of 10, they will beat whatever team they're playing, and it's basically going to come down to a running of Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson throwing the ball and running at the same time, the defense picking off whoever they're playing, and it's going to be a blowout before there's even a competitive edge going on. I mean, it'll probably be a blowout before the half even ends at this point. So, not surprisingly, I am going with the Ravens to win this one, because they are the red-hot team right now, and this is just what they do every single year. Even in Cincinnati, I don't even know why the hell you're even bothering to bring Joe Burrow back at this point. So yeah, give me the Ravens to go to 7-5, the Bengals dropping to 3-9, and yeah, it's the same damn thing over and over and over again. Then following that, we have the Amazon Black Friday game between the Chicago Bears and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Bears. What did you think was going to happen against the Steelers? I mean, granted, the Steelers were up 21-7, and basically they won in the second half because Steelers didn't change a damn thing that they were doing in the first quarter. Meanwhile, the Bears actually changed as they went along. I mean, the Bears made it competitive throughout the course of the day. I don't even think it was 21-7 at one point. I think it was 21-14 the Steelers led, and then they did nothing for the second half except that one touchdown, but it was already too little too late, and the Bears, they did what the Steelers couldn't do. They responded, they changed their plan, and it worked in the end. And let's be honest, they needed to win that game regardless, because they're going into a hostile Philadelphia, coming off of one of the worst losses of the year. Speaking of teams that blew a massive lead, Philadelphia had the 21-0 lead. So yeah, it's no wonder Chicago had to get a win to at least get to 8-3, because there's no way they're going into Philadelphia to beat the Eagles. It's not after the way that the Eagles performed against Dallas. There's just no way of doing it. And yeah, the Eagles have had problems on the offensive side. Kevin Patullo sucks as an offensive coordinator, but the Philadelphia Eagles are still the champs, and they play very well in Lincoln Financial Field to win just enough, and then they've been doing that so far, and they've been winning games. But of course, that game last week against the Cowboys was the first time in a long time where they had a lead and they blew it in the worst possible way. And I mean, yeah, one of their only other loss at Lincoln Financial Field, the one loss at Lincoln Financial Field this year was against Denver. And again, that was another game where Philadelphia had the lead, and then Denver came all the way back to take the lead and essentially turn their season around overall. But yeah, I looked at last week and I thought, yeah, Chicago definitely needed to win against the Steelers because there's no way they're going into Philadelphia to beat this team. I mean, they might try to make it close, they might try to come back, but I think Philadelphia knows that everyone is watching them right now, and, the clock is ticking right now for Kevin Patullo to actually do something, and, it's just not looking like he's willing to change anything at all, So yeah, I think Chicago wins this one. No, what the hell am I saying? I think Philadelphia wins this one. I'm getting so confused right now. I mean, no, Philadelphia should win this one. If Philadelphia loses to Chicago, then this team is in deep, deep trouble. I would not be shocked if Patullo does get fired after this game, if he loses to the Chicago Bears. But I am going to go with the Eagles to win this one. I think that they should have the home field advantage working for them. And I think the eyes are watching this football offense to get something going quickly because, yeah, time is of the essence right now, and you got Dallas, literally right behind you now. So, yeah, you better be careful if you're the world champion Eagles. So, give me the Eagles to go to 9-3 and the Bears to drop to 8-4. So, next up, let's head to Sunday. We've got a slate of games that begins with the San Francisco 49ers heading to Cleveland to take on the Browns. And the last time the 49ers went to Cleveland, they got upset by the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson. Actually, was Deshaun Watson playing that? Was he the quarterback during that game? Of course he wasn't. That was P.J. Walker because, anybody that wasn't Deshaun Watson was going to do better for the Cleveland Browns than Deshaun Watson was, which, hey, you could say the same thing for now. But San Francisco, they've been playing pretty well despite all their injury problems. I mean, they beat the Carolina Panthers, but if we're being honest, it was mostly because Carolina was making more mistakes than the 49ers were, which makes no sense because Brock Purdy threw 3 interceptions in the first half and they still won 20-9. I mean, that just shows you that Carolina can't do shit in prime time, especially when they're given golden opportunities like that. But they're going to be taking on the Cleveland Browns, who got a nice lift up with Shedeur Sanders making his first start with the Browns against the Raiders. Again, it's the Raiders. I mean, any team I think can go into Las Vegas right now and beat them because the Raiders are so fucking terrible. But hey, Shedeur Sanders had a good game overall, and he's proven the critics wrong overall. I mean, right now he is, but we'll see if that can continue. I mean, his schedule overall for the next 3 weeks could give the Browns a little bit of a lift. I mean, this is going to be their toughest game overall coming up in the next couple of weeks. You got that, then you got Tennessee, and then after that, Chicago, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. So I think Shedeur could still play well in the next couple of weeks, even if they don't win many games, but it should give you a sign for the future with him overall. But then again, you realize it's the Cleveland Browns, and the Cleveland Browns are notoriously known for essentially not giving these drafted quarterbacks the will and the need to grow as they go along here, even after some good games overall. I mean, this was the game last week against the Raiders was the perfect game for Shedeur Sanders to get a start in, and he did a commendable job. I'll give him that. And I think he does have the potential to become the starting QB for the future overall. I think he was just put in a bad situation against the Ravens the week before, going in there without giving much to do overall in terms of moving that offense along. But in this game here in particular, the game against the Raiders showed a lot of potential for him going forward here. It's going to be a tough one overall to play against the 49ers team, but it's not impossible. The 49ers overall, like I said, the injury bug has hit this team more than anyone expected it to, and yet they're still finding ways to win games, but they are vulnerable. If the Browns can do what the Panthers did last week and get some points on them, I think the Browns could easily pull off a major upset here, but because it is the 49ers and seeing how they've continued to play well, even despite all the trials and tribulations they've had to go with the injury bug, I am going to go with them to win this one here, but I think it's going to be a much closer game than people expect it to be. I think Cleveland will keep it close, but I think the 49ers will come out in the end with the win here. So I'll go with the 49ers to go to 9-4 and the Browns to drop to 3-9. So following that, we have got the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee, right? Yeah, Tennessee. Tennessee, I mean, they're getting better. They got better last week against Seattle eventually. I mean, it was pretty much in garbage time overall, but yeah, there's not much really more you could say about Tennessee this year. They're just fucking terrible. They're just waiting for the season to end. They're waiting for the head coaching carousel to begin, which is already building some intrigue overall. We've heard that Bill Belichick could be coaching his last game in North Carolina, and then some pretty juicy news today, coming from I believe it was Josina Anderson, who said that one team in particular who has a longtime head coach, could be considering a change of scenery here. So, considering the two coaches that have been with their teams the longest, one with the Chiefs and one with the Steelers, one would think it's going to be one of those two teams. My money is on Mike Tomlin, because please, for the love of God, we need a change now. And let's be honest, the Steelers have more need for change than the Kansas City Chiefs do. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, Tennessee's going to need a lot of help in the next season to give Cam Ward the weapons he needs to succeed. But yeah, they're just waiting for the season to be over with here. Meanwhile, the Jaguars did a commendable job against Arizona, did a fantastic job last week against the Cardinals. Took it to overtime overall, but the Jaguars overall, they're keeping pace up overall. They've gotten better since the bye week. They've won 3 of their last 4. They should win this one here. I don't think it should be that much of a shocker in this one here, because Tennessee just isn't a good football team at all. And yeah, not much more to say about this one here. I think the Jaguars go to 8-4, Titans drop to 1-11, and then they should be eliminated from the playoffs, which I'm shocked that the Tennessee Titans are still technically in playoff contention, and yet the Giants, who had 2 wins this season, who have one more win than the Tennessee Titans do, they were eliminated last week with the loss to the Lions, which, explain that logic to me, I don't know. But yeah, that's the situation we're in right now. So let's move on to our next game, and that is the New Orleans Saints taking on the Miami Dolphins. The Saints did not do much against Atlanta, even though Atlanta is now riding with Kirk Cousins for the foreseeable future. Michael Penix is now out for the season. And yeah, the Falcons overall, they're just waiting to see if anything is going to happen with Kirk Cousins under center once again. But it looks like they might be going in for another these quarterbacks coming up in the 2026 draft. They might be done with Michael Penix after just 2 seasons. Which, yeah, good job of drafting a QB high in the first round and not doing jack shit with him, Atlanta. Meanwhile, Miami has certainly gotten a lot better in the last couple of weeks overall. They have done a pretty good job of winning the last couple of games. And this is smelling like 2021 Miami Dolphins all over again. This is a team that could make some noise overall. I mean, they've got a schedule that is not as hard as you think it is. You see teams like Pittsburgh. You see teams like Tampa Bay. You see teams like the Patriots in there still. But let's be honest, Pittsburgh is not very good this year. Tampa Bay is still with so many injuries. And New England, who knows if they're going to be even needing to play for anything, considering how well they're doing right now with 10 wins on the season already. But they're going to be taking on the New Orleans Saints, and yeah, I think they should continue the momentum going into this game overall. I think they are trying to keep Tua Tagovailoa's job as the quarterback there, as well as Mike McDaniel's job there. I don't think that New Orleans has enough there left over for them to beat a team like the Miami Dolphins. I think they're on a good hot streak right now. They've won 3 of their last 4 games. They're certainly a lot better team than they were at the start of the season, and yeah, I think they are the better team in this matchup here. I'm going to go with the Dolphins to move to 5-7, and I'll have the Saints dropping to 2-10. Speaking of the Atlanta Falcons, they're going to be taking on Jeff Ulbricht's former team, the New York Jets. Suck. I mean, yeah, Tyrod Taylor did get a touchdown to give the Jets some hope with a lead, and then that got blown away by the Ravens later on. So yeah, it was not a great game for the New York Jets overall, but it just has not been that great of a season overall for them. And they're going to be taking on the Atlanta Falcons, who, as I mentioned, are riding along with Kirk Cousins for the rest of the season. Michael Penix is out. Probably for this will be the last. Probably that game against Carolina last week was probably the last time we'll ever see him in a Falcons uniform, possibly. But yeah, this is not a very good football game overall. Two lackluster teams, 2 teams that are really not doing a whole lot in general. But yeah, I think Atlanta probably wins this one just because they're the more capable team against the team like the Jets. So not much more to say about that one. Give me the Falcons to go to 5-7 and the Jets to drop to 2-10. So then following that, we have got the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Cardinals, again, what more do we need to say about how bad this team is this season? It's a rough team to watch. I mean, the Cardinals look pretty bad. The Cardinals have looked pretty bad all season long, despite Jacoby Brissett's record 47 completions that one game against the 49ers. It was not enough. And Brissett did a good job overall against Jacksonville, but again, it just wasn't enough overall for them. But they're going to be taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who, wow, what a disastrous run this team has gone through. I mean, they've had so many injuries, one by one, and Baker Mayfield has been doing a good job of keeping the team steady overall, but ever since they got back from the bye week, they have not been the same football team that they have been. I mean, they kept it close against the Patriots and the Bills, and then they just did nothing against the Rams on Sunday Night Football. I mean, good Lord, what a sloppy game that was. And not only that, Baker Mayfield is now dealing with an injury and will not play this week, it looks like. So it's going to be Teddy Bridgewater back as the quarterback for this team. And with no, they were able to survive without Mike Evans. They were able to survive without Chris Godwin. They were able to survive without a number of their players. But once Baker Mayfield's out of the picture, yeah, it's over for them right now. I mean, I don't think they have a chance in this. The only reason why they'll probably still win the division is because the rest of this division is fucking terrible, with Carolina being the second best team. But even then, I'm not really certain on their future overall. And this is going to be one of those ones where I'm going to take a risk on this one. I actually do think the Arizona Cardinals will win this game here because, yeah, it's the Arizona Cardinals. They are not a very good football team, but they have been close in several games, to the point where at some point one of these games is going to have to work out in their favor for them. And with a team as banged up and as battered as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are, I wouldn't be surprised if it was them that would get the hit on this one here. So I am going to go with the Arizona Cardinals to pull off the upset win against Tampa Bay. Arizona would go to 4-8. Tampa Bay would drop to 6-6. I just don't feel comfortable with Tampa Bay in their situation right now, with so many injuries plaguing them. I mean, this is it. This should be this should be a tough game for. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. Excuse me. I think this will be an upset win for the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals will be better prepared in this game than Tampa Bay is. I mean, it's just looking like it's going to be that type of a game where it could really go either way. But I'm going to go with Tampa. I'm going to go with Arizona to win this one. Arizona 4-8. Tampa Bay 6-6. And then finally, in the early 1 o'clock window, we have got the Los Angeles Rams traveling out to Carolina to take on the Panthers. The Panthers certainly are a better football team than they have been in the last couple of weeks, but then on Monday night, when they had a chance to not only prove to everybody that they're of their worth, but also going into a game where they could have taken first place in the division, no. Gets their asses whooped by San Francisco. Even though the Panthers defense got 3 picks on Brock Purdy, 49ers still won that game. So why am I going to think that it's going to change over the best team in football as of this week, the Los Angeles Rams? I mean, the Rams, once again, dominant performance all across the board against Tampa Bay. I mean, the defense was strong. The offense was playing great. Jared Verse got 2 sacks on Baker Mayfield. Kobe Turner got 2 as well. Puka Nacua, 97 yards. Devontae Adams with a touchdown. I mean, Matthew Stafford's having an MVP caliber season. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Los Angeles right now is the team to beat right now in the NFC. And even I think Carolina, it's going to be too much for them to win this game here. So I'm going to go ahead and give the Rams the 10-2 record and the Panthers to drop to 6-7. I just think it's going to be that type of a game where the Los Angeles Rams should do what they need to do to win this game. And Carolina, they'll try to keep up with it, but it's not going to work out in the end for them. Next up, you have got the Seattle Seahawks going to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Minnesota, is just a team that has just been not that great overall, and it's mostly because of J.J. McCarthy not doing what they thought they were going to get from him. I mean, Minnesota has been rough all season long, and I think they were pushing J.J. McCarthy as the superstar way too early. Keep in mind, this is still his rookie year. He missed all of last season, but everyone was pushing him to be the next big superstar, this quarterback for this team. But really, what we've seen so far with them is making them prove that they should have found a way to keep Sam Darnold around and push J.J. McCarthy. Let J.J. McCarthy on the bench and say, "You're not ready yet, kid," because it's clear he's not ready to become a threat for the Minnesota Vikings QB position right now. Because it's definitely not looking good for them right now at this point. But they're going to be taking on the Seattle Seahawks, who And I just remember Sam Darnold is the quarterback now, and so this should be a very fun game for him to get revenge on his former team and basically tell them, why the fuck is, hey motherfuckers, this is what you get for getting rid of me. So yeah, Seattle I think should win this game overall. They have been very good all season long. Jackson Smith-Njigba has been a revolution for this team overall, and the defense has been better. The offense has been playing well overall, and like I said, they are very much competitive right now in that division. And in the NFC race right now with the Rams. So yeah, not much more to say about that one. I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks to win this one. They go to 9-3. Vikings to drop to 4-8. So then we have an interesting matchup here between two teams who lost in Week 12. You've got the Buffalo Bills taking on the Aids. That's right, Pittsburgh. You're back to 8s once again. Because, yeah, how the fuck did you are fucking pathetic. You continue to lose to Chicago. The worst Chicago teams ever, this team has lost to. And as I mentioned, the Chicago Bears are a much better team this season. And to have a 21-17 lead at the half and then do absolutely nothing to change your game against the Chicago Bears, who did improve in the second half and won that game barely because, they scored only 2 touchdowns in the second half. But, I mean, yeah, Aaron Rodgers probably could have played in that game, but I really don't think it would have made much of a difference overall if he did. I mean, and it's like I said, man, this team is just such a clustered mess of a team to watch. They've already lost the division lead to the Baltimore Ravens, and you can already tell they're not going to relinquish that anytime soon. So, and their schedule overall is just absolutely terrible. They got the Ravens twice. They've got an improving Miami team, Detroit, Cleveland with Shedeur Sanders. They're not winning another game this season. They are just not. And I hope this is the time that they get rid of Mike Tomlin. This season is it, because this cannot keep going on here. They are turning into what the Indianapolis Colts used to be. Just grab whatever old quarterback is out on the market here and just see if he can make magic happen. And it's just like, it's not working. This is now the 4th year since Ben Roethlisberger retired where we've juggled quarterbacks here, and it's just not working. And you're just taking away the possible talents of everyone involved in here and just creating a mess, a sloppy mess that's only getting worse every single year. And guess what? You're taking on a Buffalo Bills team that got their asses handed them by the Houston Texans of all teams. The Bills lost to the Texans. That still baffles me. Like, how did you lose to Davis Mills? Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. And I really do feel like Buffalo lost that game on purpose so they could have a comeback game against the Steelers. Because that's the only thing I can think of here. Because if anybody out there thinks the Steelers are going to beat the Buffalo Bills, who have manhandled them for the last 4 years, 3 years technically, because they won that Week 1 game in 2021, but the last 3 years they played the Bills, they have not even competed against them. I mean, even as bad as Buffalo was last week, I still think that they purposely played bad so they can have a nice comeback game against them this week, because there's no way the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to allow Buffalo to come in there and win against them. There's no way that's going to happen. So yeah, needless to say though, like I said, the season's pretty much over for the Steelers at this point, and they're not going to make any changes before the season is over. So why should I even get excited at this point? The only differences between this season and the last couple of seasons is that the Steelers are not waiting until December to disappoint their fans. So yeah, no surprise here. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills to get back on track to go to 8-4, and the Steelers to drop to 6-6, and hopefully lower and lower and lower to the point that the Steelers finally get the hint and let go of Mike Tomlin. Everyone always talks about, well, if you let Mike Tomlin go, he's only going to win another Super Bowl. So he's only going to help another team. He's only going to win another championship somewhere else. Okay, prove it then. Do it. I think everyone here wants a change of scenery here. Don't be like the Pirates, where you're going to say that we're going to make changes and then never do it. I'm not fully convinced that Bob Nutting is going to do jack shit for Paul Skeens. There was a whole thing this week talking about, the Pirates are looking at Kyle Schwarber coming in here in free agency. It's just like, yeah, I've seen the song and dance before. That ain't happening. Like, I'm telling you not to get your hopes out about the Pirates. I'm telling you not to get your hopes up about the Steelers. And I'm going to tell you not to get your hopes up about the Penguins either, because even though they started the season off strong, they've looked fucking terrible the last couple of games. So What else to look forward to in this town? What, the Riverhounds? I guess so, because they're champions right now in the USL, so I guess there's that, so. I don't know, I'm just ranting right now, so let's go ahead and move on to the next game here. We have got the Chargers over the Raiders, and oh yeah, Chargers. Chargers are going to win this one. I mean, yeah, I know the Raiders got rid of Chip Kelly, but Chargers. What have the Raiders done this season on offense? Not much. Ashton Genty has not played as well as they should be playing. Brock Bowers has been the only thing saving them, but it's not helping them get wins. And yeah, if I'm going to choose between the Chargers and the Raiders, I'm picking the Chargers. The Chargers have a lot of injuries too, but you know what? Even a team that's 50% like the Chargers are can still find a way to beat a team as bad as the Raiders are. So I'm not even going to tell you why I think the Chargers will win this one. It shouldn't even be a question. So give me the Chargers to go to 8-4 and the Raiders to drop to 2-10. I mean, it's just, yeah, it doesn't matter if Chip Kelly's not there as the offensive coordinator anymore. Geno Smith and Pete Carroll are still there. This team's going to be fucking terrible all season long. And then, on Sunday Night Football, why the fuck is this the Sunday Night Football game? Why is somebody looking at this and saying, no Jaden Daniels for the Commanders and a team that is only 3-8? Why not make it the Sunday Night Football game? There was not another game you could have put in there as a flex game, but no. It's the Denver Broncos taking on the Washington Commanders. Now, both of these teams were on their bye week last week. When we last left the Denver Broncos, they were putting up a very convincing win against Kansas City. They did a fantastic job against them, won it on a game-winning field goal, and now they have a commanding lead over them in the division right now, sitting comfortably at 9-2. With one more win, they'll match the record from last season. And they're going to be taking on a Washington Commanders team that is still riding with Marcus Mariota. The last time we saw this Commanders team, it was not a very good game in Madrid, Spain. I mean, Marcus Mariota threw an interception on the first play of overtime. The first throw of overtime was picked off by Jack Jones, which set up the game winner for Miami. This team is so decimated, destroyed. I mean, they have nothing left to go for this season here, and this should be a game the Broncos should win. If Washington somehow finds a way to win this game, then I think it's more than safe to assume that this league is fucking rigged. Because, yeah, there's no way that Denver should be losing to a Washington Commanders team this terrible. So, yeah, I'm going to go with what should be the case here. Denver should win this one, and I think they will. Give me the Broncos to go to 10-2 and the Commanders to drop to 3-9. Because I feel like that should be what happens here. But, yeah, don't be surprised. If Denver finds a way to win this one, it's rigged. It's pretty much rigged at this point. And then we have a Monday Night Football matchup, which again, really does not seem like a fair matchup here. We've got the New England Patriots taking on the New York Giants, because like with the Broncos and Commanders game, this was a Super Bowl matchup 20 years ago. So clearly that means this should be a great game. If you were playing a good New York Giants football team, maybe. If the Commanders were so terrible right now. But yeah, we all kind of figure what this is going to be like here. And for the New England Patriots, believe it or not, next week is their bye week. So yeah, this would be a nice present overall to go into the bye week at 11-2. And yeah, the Patriots overall have been very good. There's been times when they haven't looked as strong as they have been, but they have not lost a game since that Steelers loss in Week 3. I mean, since then they have won 9 straight. And continue to be a team that could be that is very much high up in the AFC hierarchy right now. And they're going to be taking on a New York Giants team that, like I said before, has played well in the last couple of weeks, but unfortunately is not led to wins in general here. And in fact, they've blown a lot of double-digit leads in them. 10 losses, 7 is, I mean, there's according to Wikipedia, had the Giants won those games, there's a chance they could have easily been 7-5. I mean, that's a big difference maker right now in general here, but at least with Mike Kafka there, you can definitely tell the Giants are definitely competing in there. They're not playing horribly, even with all their injuries that they're dealing with right now. They're just not playing good, confident football to really convince a lot of people that they can be competitive with these great teams. But yeah, this matchup shouldn't be close. I mean, the Patriots right now are playing some of the best football in the league right now, and there's just no denying that they are indeed back. And that is bad news for everyone who likes football and likes change in the league. And yeah, it's a return to a team that found their lucky horse and got the coach that they needed to really succeed, Bill Belichick, and not a guy like Gerard Mayo. But yeah, I'm going to go with New England to win this one here. I don't think it's even going to be close, but you never know. I'll take the Patriots to go to 11-2, Giants to drop to 2-10. The only thing that's working for the Giants is that Monday Night Football games this season, the away team has won more games there than the home team has. But then again, last week was not the case against Carolina and San Francisco, so that might not happen this week, and I don't think it would happen this week. But hey, New England gets a nice 11-2 start to the season before they head into the bye week for the last 4 games of the year. But we'll see what happens. So to recap my Week 13 NFL predictions, I have the Lions over the Packers, the Cowboys over the Chiefs, the Ravens over the Bengals, the Eagles over the Bears, the 49ers over the Browns, the Jaguars over the Titans, Colts over the Texans, Dolphins over the Saints, Falcons over the Jets, Cardinals over the Buccaneers, Rams over the Panthers, Seahawks over the Vikings, Bills over the Steelers, Chargers over the Raiders, Broncos over the Commanders, and the Patriots over the Giants. So that's my thoughts on Week 13 and my thoughts on the final week of November. And like I said, only 5 more games for each of these teams after this week coming up. So yeah, should be a very, very intriguing race to the finish overall here, where by this time next month we'll definitely have an idea, by Christmas time actually, because this will be 1 month and now will be Christmas Day as I'm recording this. But yeah, we'll see which teams are contenders, which ones are pretenders, but it should be a ton of fun to watch all around. So, with all that said, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the NFL Network. If you like what you see and want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe button, notification button. Check out last week's video, check out our playlist, and I'll see you guys next week. So until then, have a great Thanksgiving, and I will see you guys next week. Take care. The following has been a presentation of the Reviewing Network Sports.